We're here with Gordon Edge, Director of Policy at RenewableUK. Gordon, we are now in the second day of the event, and perhaps you could talk us through what has emerged as the key issue or the main issues in the debate so far.
Well, I think it's really clear that the problem of having a volume market beyond 2020 is one that's exercising pretty much everyone. It's kind of the sine qua non of this industry. If without objectives beyond 2020, nothing can really happen. And we've seen a very interesting chicken and egg issue emerging with Michael Fallon, the Minister, yesterday being very clear, bring your costs down and we'll give you a market, and us saying we need a market in order to bring the costs down. And which is chicken, which is egg, we're in a bit of a stalemate there.
And having identified this key issue, what do you think the industry can practically do to achieve these goals, and how can your organisation help?
Well, we can't do it alone. It has to be a partnership. Government has to be stepping in and giving us some more policy certainty, but the industry can help itself collaborate better, focus on cost reduction. I mean, it has to happen, but we'll be standing there, RenewableUK will definitely be standing there ready to help with all those kind of collaborative, interactive kind of proposals. But we have to have a clear partnership between government and industry and the consumer. We have to remember that we don't over call on their generosity.
And looking at the wider picture now, offshore wind clearly is developing in a number of countries in Europe especially, and there are different approaches being taken and different results achieved so far. What would you say, are there any lessons the UK can learn, and any models it can possibly replicate, or others that he'd rather not pass, that he would rather not go down?
Well, we're looking very carefully at what happens in other countries. We've yet to find a fully replicable model that we'd want to follow, but I think there are some things emerging that we're probably not going to do. I mean, the French are very clear, subtle but direct, that factories were required as a condition of the tender. That's all very well. I don't think it's going to happen in the UK. We're not ideologically set up that way. Another issue that's emerging, the difference between what happens in Europe and what happens in the UK, is ownership of ports. This is quite a subtle one, particularly in Germany and the Netherlands and so on. The ports are municipally or publicly owned, and people can invest, governments can invest in them on the expectation of a lower rate of return, a social rate of return. Whereas in the UK, the ports are primarily privately owned and are seeking a higher rate of return and more certainty. Now, there may be an opportunity for government to step in and reduce risks for the private port owners, but that's one we've yet to fully resolve. But we're hopeful that we can have some issues ironed out in that regard.
Thank you very much, Gordon.